Let me hit you with the fact. Some of these rare heroes are trash. Fact number 2. Some of these rare heroes are definitely worth your attention, and you should pay attention to them. So that's what today's video is about. Today we're going to go over the non-void rare heroes that deserve your time and investment. We're going to be talking about which ones you can bring up to 60 and ascend and run through Minotaur and use on your team in Clan Boss, Arena, Faction Wars, all of it. We're going to cover it today. We're going to talk about the best rare heroes in the game. So let's get right into it. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy B-Hub. Let's get right into it. Bog Walker is our first champion that we're going to talk about today. Now these champions are in no particular order. This is not ranked 1 to 10. We're just going to go over a bunch of rare heroes and I'll let you know where they're good and why they are good. Bog Walker is number 1 on our list. So Clan Boss is a big part of this game. And landing decrease attack, specifically the 50% decrease attack on Clan Boss, is a huge part of surviving longer into that fight and being able to deal more damage. If you want to know more about Clan Boss, because obviously some of these heroes will be geared towards it, you can check out some of my other videos on like Clan Boss basics and all that different kind of stuff to get a little bit more information. But if you know this, you know that you need that decrease attack. And sometimes I've seen a lot of people who have refused to bring heroes up like Bog Walker or maybe like Veteran, which we'll cover in a different video, things like that, because they are rare heroes. But this is a really good hero to bring. And one of the things that I have found over my kind of journey throughout this game is I was able to outperform teams in Clan Boss who had clearly better heroes than I did, because they had nobody on their team who could land decrease attack. And I would do more damage than they did using Bog Walker on my team, and I outperformed them with worse heroes, just statistically across the board. But Bog Walker was able to keep decrease attack on the boss. I was able to live longer and deal more damage. And so I would highly recommend him. I have one that's level 60 myself. I have a guide on him if you want to see about him. And you can even check out, my video for the free-to-play nightmare runs and things like that. All of those videos will have Bog Walker in them. He does do some work. And it's really all about this A1, the decrease attack. You're going to want to level this all the way up. He needs the 50% chance. And you want this as high as possible, obviously. His other things are pretty cool. I mean, he can place increased defense on all your allies, which is great. And he has this reflect damage thing, which is pretty cool. And he has an aura for dungeons. But really, it's all about this A1, the decrease attack. That's what makes Bog Walker good. And he's specifically good in Clan Boss. That is definitely where he shines because of that A1. Up next is Anointed, and I don't think that Anointed gets the credit that he deserves. I leveled this guy up to 60. I think he's really good. I'm a big fan of him, and he can do a lot of different stuff. Now, he is somebody who I would invest in probably later on into the game if you need him, because I think he is good in Arena, and I think that he's going to be good in Faction Wars. But Arena right now is not super competitive, and Faction Wars, if you are not trying to excel at the Barbarian clan, then he might not be on the top of your list yet, but he's a very good hero. I think he can really help combo well with other heroes. You can see this. I did a free-to-play arena team here recently where I was getting wins in Gold 4, and Anointed was a big part of that team. Let me show you what this guy does. His A1 is a 3-hit and it has a 25% chance of placing a freeze. That makes him pretty disruptive. He has the potential to just stun a key opponent on the other side of the field. Now this is good in Arena obviously, but it's also going to be good in Faction Wars. You're going to want to crowd control as much as possible, and this is going to help you do that. His A2 is very similar to that, kind of helping you work the crowd. He has attacks one enemy 2 times, and each one of those hits has a 75% chance, but you can level that all the way up to a 90% chance of stealing 1 buff from the target. So each one of those hits can steal a buff, and it has a really good chance to do so. So you're looking at really taking 2 buffs from your opponent. Now this is really good. This means that you can take key buffs like unkillable, block damage. You can even rip big shields. So he is force, so he does great in things like the magic keep. He's going to be able to rip those big shields off of people. He can steal speed buffs, all of those different kind of things. It's great to really help you just get through some annoying opponents. And then this is where I used him for on my arena team. He fills the turn meter of all allies by 25%. Anybody who fills the turn meters of your allies is, to me, already pretty good, but he also places a 30% chance increased crit rate buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now the way that I used him in my arena team was I built some people who were able to nuke. And because I had him on the team to give them the increased crit rate, it means I did not have to have 30% on my substats. That frees me up to use some different gear and to focus on attack percentage and crit damage because I don't have to plug in 30% crit rate because he will cover it himself. So you can really use him to combo well with your team. You can use him to disrupt the enemy team. And I just think he's a really good, solid hero. I don't think he gets enough credit. I brought mine to level 60, fully ascended, all of that good stuff, and I do not regret it. I like this guy. Alright, coming in next is going to be Kale. Kale's a pretty obvious choice. He's a great all-around hero. He can really do it all, and so he's an obvious recommendation for me. This is who I would start the game with if I was you. I started with the Auric, and I'm not a big fan. This is really where it's at. You want to start with Kale. He has the ability to poison on his A1, just land this 2.5% poison. He has the ability to drop a big, heavy attack on his A2, which is a good nuking ability on a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, 15% extra chance of critical hit, and fills his turn meter for each enemy killed. Really strong ability. And then here attacks 4 times at random and has a 40%, you can level it up to 50% chance of placing a poison debuff for 2 turns. And that's going to be on each hit. So that's really awesome. He's a great hero. He's got an HP percent in all battles, aura. Really, really strong. If you want to see him in action, you can check him out in my free-to-play team on either my arena run or my clan boss run. In both of those, you will see him in action. He also does really well in places like Dragon, even up to Dragon level 20. He is an amazing hero who can really help bring down bosses because of his poisoning abilities. Now there's going to be different builds for him depending on where you want to use him at. So like I said, you can check out those free-to-play guides that I have out there to see, you know, where you want to use him and what kind of build you should do. But he is definitely a recommendation for a level 60 hero. Alright, up next is Athel. And Athel is one of those heroes that is also a starting hero, although I still would pick Kale over her. But she can do it all just like he can. She can do clan boss, she can do arena, she can do dungeons. She's a great overall hero who's really going to help you if you pull her and you need somebody to help you in those areas. Now, again, same thing for her. If you want to see some clan boss action with her, I have some videos on that. If you want to see her in that free-to-play arena team, she is also there, so you can see different builds. Now, I do have an Athel guide, and she's built for clan boss, but she's built for clan boss assuming that you don't have a lot of accuracy that you have yet. The reason that she's good in clan boss is this. She can land the 25% weaken debuff, which you want on the clan boss, and she can keep it up the entire fight no problem because she has a 100% chance of landing that hit. Now that's really, really good. And also her aura gives you the HP in all battles, which means you can make her the lead on your team if you need to, because you don't mind her getting stunned because she's going to keep this weaken up all the time. Now in other areas, she's great. She can use her higher blessing to give her an increased attack and maybe an increased defense depending on her HP. It does give her an extra turn to give her some more attack so she can nuke. And with her divine blades, that's going to help with waves and dungeons. It's going to help with faction wars. It's going to help with arena. This ability is going to be good in those places. On clan boss, it's really mostly about strike down. And I'll give you this. If you go check out my Athel guide, like I said, that's going to be if you have an Athel who needs some more accuracy. Maybe you're struggling with your substats or your gear or whatever, and you need more accuracy. That's going to help you in clan boss. If accuracy is not an issue, run her like this. Here are the masteries for her to run on clan boss if you are not struggling with accuracy. This is going to be a better build for you, and she's going to do really well there. I used her in clan boss for a really long time until I got some other heroes that could replace her. But she's a very strong hero. She excels in a lot of different areas, and she is worth your investment. If you are new to this game, then you might not have heard of this character yet, but his name is Apothecary, and he is an absolute baller. If you have been playing this game for a while, we all know that Apothecary is a monster and is definitely a hero that is worth a 6-star investment. So check this guy out. This is what he does. He places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies and fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. This makes him good in a lot of different areas. He helps your team just go faster. He's great for that, and you can get this reduced to a 3-turn cooldown. He has Soothing Chant, which heals a target ally, and it can be critical, and you can get it down to a 2-turn cooldown. And then his attack is attacks 3 times at random. You can see Apothecary in any area of the game. You'll see him in dungeons. I use him on a team to do Dragon 20 in under 3 minutes, so he can be great there. You definitely will see him in the arena. He's going to go really fast, and he's going to boost the turn of your other people so that they can go first. And you're going to see him even in Clan Boss to be able to help boost the turn meter of all of your people and give them the increased speed and even heal a little bit on the side. Plus he has a 3-hit A1, which means you can use Giant Slayer on him to do some more damage. Overall, Apothecary is amazing. You can see him also in some of my videos. He is in my free-to-play Nightmare Clan Boss run and things like that. Apothecary is just an overall really good hero. Alright, so now we've reached the point in the video where I do not have these next heroes leveled up to 60 myself. And as much as I would like to say that I've leveled them all up to 60, I have not. That's a lot of different heroes for me to take to 60. So I haven't done that yet, but I can still say that I think that these heroes are going to be good investments for you. I've seen most of them in use for other people, and on some of them I think that they will be good, and we'll discuss those, and I'll let you know which ones that those are as well. Now, Spirit Host is one of these that you'll see taken to 60 every once in a while. Really, she does great. She has the speed in all battles by 10%, the speed aura in all battles, which is good. And you're going to see this, and that's going to come in handy if you don't have anyone else who can produce a speed aura. She's decent at it. Now, ideally, you are going to want somebody who can give you more than 10%, but if you don't have anybody, this can do. Really, I think what makes her excel to me is she has this Dark Gift. It removes all debuffs on all allies and places a block debuff on all allies for 1 turn as well. This is going to be a good support hero. And coming up, I think in the future, you're going to see a need more for support heroes. Definitely in Faction Wars, and if they do anything with Arena and they start tweaking it and making it different, hopefully that they do, you're going to see this. You're going to see a need, I think, for some more support heroes. Now, she can also be good in places like Dragon, you know, if people get all the poisons on them or something like that, or even maybe the Void Keep. She's going to be able to remove all the debuffs on all the allies, and that's going to be a big help for you as well. So really, this is going to be one of her best skills. This is also really good. It attacks, it places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's really strong. That's a big increased attack buff. And then her A1 is able to heal by 50% of the damage inflicted, so she even has a little bit of a self-heal on there. Ideally, you want to build this character, you're going to want a lot of speed, you're going to want a lot of resistance, because if she's removing the debuffs on your other allies, you do not want her to receive the debuff as well. You don't want her to get stunned or frozen or sleep or whatever. So you're going to want her to have a high resistance so that she can bail the rest of your team out. That's really what you want right there. You're going to want a good amount of speed on her so she can go often, and she can cast these buffs and this help. And then also you're going to want some survivability on her. She's not here to do a ton of damage, so I wouldn't focus on attack. I would focus on really this HP percentage and take advantage of that, and probably some defense percentage as well. You want those support heroes to survive, stick around longer, and do what they were designed to do. So as we're here kind of getting towards the end of this video, and we're talking about these rare heroes that are good support heroes, I want to go ahead and say that really they're going to start excelling when you get to the point of Faction Wars. They are going to have some help in maybe in a dungeon wave that you're struggling with, and maybe some of them can translate to Arena, but really I think a lot of these are going to help out in Faction Wars when you're trying to progress there. So Banshee is going to be one of them. She's a pretty rare hero in the sense that she is a rare hero, but in addition to that, she has a lot of this. She attacks all enemies on her A1, and that's really, really rare for a rare hero, saying that a lot. And that's really good. She's also going to be able to land this decreased defense on them, which is great. Her A2 is also an attacks all enemies and has the opportunity of removing buffs from the target, which this can be on a 2-turn cooldown. And then this one attacks 2 times at random, so it's not everybody, but it is a couple of people. And each attack has a 50% chance of placing a block cooldown skills. So she's very disruptive. Now what you would want to do with her is put her probably in a stun gear. Well, if you can get her in stun gear and you got her attacking all enemies every time, that means you're going to really disrupt the opposing team, be able to crowd control, and move through some places in this game that you might not have been able to do so without her. So I think Banshee would be a good hero for Faction Wars and maybe for some dungeon waves for you. Alright, up next we're going back to the Barbarians to talk about War Maiden. Now, she's a really great hero. A lot of people bring her to 60 and for pretty good reason. Really, it's all about this A3, Crumbling Blast. It attacks all enemies, and if you level it up, it has a 100% chance of placing the 60% decreased defense, and that's the good one. That's the big one. That's the one that you're going to want. It's going to help you deal a lot more damage to the heroes who are under this debuff. This is really solid. You can get this reduced to a 3-turn cooldown, which is very quick. It's going to be great. If you saw my free-to-play arena video, then if you wanted to, you could take out Kale or Aethel, and you could replace one of them with War Maiden. And instead what you would have is she would go before them, she would lay the decreased defense down, and then whoever's going to nuke is going to come and nuke on top of that. And it's going to deal a ton of damage because they're going to be under that debuff. It's really solid. Now she also has the ability to attack, give herself an increased attack boost, which is great, and possibly place an extra hit. And then on top of that, she can attack, and she has the opportunity of placing a poison. So this is going to make her a great arena hero, and it's also going to be helpful in some dungeons and potentially even in faction wars as well, because this decreased defense on all enemies is going to be solid. You might even be able to put her in some support gear to maybe use something like stun or something like that, where she can, help crowd control as well. In addition, this poison is going to help take off damage on bosses. So something like Dragon's 20, you would be able to bring her, and she would be able to help clear waves and deal good damage to the dragon. So pretty solid hero. So we've talked about how support heroes I think are going to be really important in the future, and Master Butcher is a monster of a support hero. Check out what this guy does. So on his A1, he has the ability of placing Provoke. That's already just really good just to have that on the A1. It means you can target a troublesome hero on the opposing team, provoke them, and then they can't use their cooldown skills, and they have to attack Master Butcher. It gets even better though. A2. Just places a provoke on the target for 2 turns. This is really good because if you just place and you don't attack, it means that this cannot be a weak attack, which means that this provoke is just going to land. That's really good. But then it gives your allies a 15% increased crit rate and a 25% increased attack on all your allies for 2 turns. Now that's both the weaker versions of both of those, but it's still just 2 extra buffs that you can have, and he does land that provoke again, which is really good. But then, this heat exchange. When attacked, he heals all allies equal to the amount of damage that he takes. So this makes him a pretty good healer. If he gets hit with an AoE attack, he's going to heal up the other team, or he's going to heal up your team. If he gets hit with whatever he provokes, he's going to heal. That's going to be really good. And then right here, he revives a random ally with full HP when he is killed. So this is really strong as well. And both of these bottom abilities are passive abilities. So I think that he's a really good hero to invest into. His HP is really high, so you're going to want to invest in that HP and capitalize off of that. But I think he's going to be a really cool support hero to have, and I think he's going to do well in this game in the future. Alright everybody, there you have it. That's 9 heroes that I think are worthy of investing into. A lot of them I've had the opportunity to bring to level 60 myself, and the other ones you can tell me what you think and what your experiences are. But in a game where you're trying to figure out how do I make the most out of what I have, I hope this video helps you. If you got something from it, hit like and hit subscribe. If you're feeling super generous, you can donate. And if you want to see some of the gear that I used for this video, there are affiliate links below. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.